just how our endurance series went last season with Snackinson. So it's great to see Matt putting the car so far in 3rd place and looking like we could have a great run. But
nice.
Lulu's already told me I've cast him once, so I need to just stop talking about him, I think.
You'd be grand.
So is this Honda, is this Honda the tribute to Mazda colours by any chance? That like 787?
Yeah, it's just a good point there. So Chris in the background there, who's doing an amazing job at the broadcast and has a long slug ahead of him, he was asking, is this Honda here? And I'm sure you guys in the YouTube comments as well can let us know. Do you reckon that's a tribute to the Mazda from the 1991 season, actually, wasn't it, when Johnny Herbert won Le Mans?
My brain doesn't go back that far. I'm still a young boy.
I think it was.
Don't forget the team screwed with us last year with the Ferrari Porsche.
Oh, is that them guys? So these are the guys who done the Ferrari Porsche. I still have nightmares over that car.
Ferrari.
Yeah, Porsche
I just
Ferrari.
called it a Porsche Ferrari. It was. I quite like the look of it. It was clearly the worst of both worlds for anyone involved with either manufacturer, but from a neutral standpoint, it was a nice looking car.
I had nightmares after that stream, I'm not gonna lie. That car haunted me. I loved it though. They were very unlucky in that race, if I remember as well, in the 24-hour. They had a bit of a moment late on. But that's what I love about ACC and the likes of SSRI and other communities. The liveries, the thought that goes behind them, and like the creativity of the artists doing them as well. You don't get it in any other game, I don't think, as well as you do in ACC with the details that they put into it.
And I think Team Abbey Racing here have also taken a West McLaren.
Indeed, Team Abbey Racing they have that livery now for about 3 months, I think it is. For me, it's one of my favourite looking liveries ever on a car. Very weird seeing it on an Aston, but that West McLaren-esque livery, it's phenomenal. And I think that was actually, it was Nelson Ambernosa who actually designed that for them.
There's a lot of nice looking liveries out. I think last time round there were a few that sort of popped up as major no-nos, as you said, the Porsche Ferrari for certain people, and in terms of other cars I think were made deliberately ugly. But so far, all the ones I've seen have looked really, really good. As you were saying, people have spent a lot of time getting some nice designs going. And I say as they should, as actually this is our sister team, the 991. We've developed into 2 teams. This is
nice.
Our American man, Bianchi. He's brought this one through. So I hope you like. To me, it reminds me a bit of Buzz Lightyear. I don't know his colours. I get it out of my head now that I first looked at that. But it's a nice looking car as well. And yeah, we're hoping these guys can do pretty well. But Dan, right now in the car, is struggling with a bit of I don't know. He's come down with a cold or something because his voice has started going. So he's not going to be able to join us in the box, unfortunately, today. But
okay. Well, hopefully he gets better soon. Even though he's out there racing, at least he doesn't have to talk. He can just focus and get on with the job in hand. But I have to say, it is a nice looking McLaren. Well done to us. And we're on now. Is it? Wait, I'm going to ruin that name. But just Wargers, is it?
Vargas, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm king of ruining names, by the way. So any name that isn't in my normal vicinity of Ireland, I'm fairly bad. But I can do English names though, surprisingly.
This car, for some reason, reminds me of Target, the American.
Yes, yes.
I wonder if they got a sponsor.
Oh, they must do.
This is a tribute to the ASF car from way back when, in the DTM, I think it was.
BASA from the DTM. Now, to be fair, I wouldn't remember. The only thing I remember about DTM was the E30s and the Mercedes, the 190 Cosworths. They were some beasts. But this is looking... It actually is a nice looking car. See, I hate the BMW just for the book tee. Other than that, it's a lovely car.
I like the look of the BMW. I like how angry it looks. I just hate the sound of it. The sound is what puts me off the car.
I can live with the sound if they can change the front. But as much as we can give out about it, isn't it? It's such a stable and predictable car to drive. It's actually a joy to drive.
It is very, very easy to pick up and go. That's for sure. Doesn't mean you're fast with it, but it's one that you can at least keep on track, which is a must around here.
Absolutely, you can absolutely eat curbs with it as well for days. But those big buck teeth, you just pull it through. But no, look, it's a great car. I think the softest car on tyres though seems to be the Aston as of late with the bop that was done there not too long ago. I found Mercedes. I pity the guys there because my experience with that, it loves to understeer.
The Mercedes is one that loves to understeer until it snap oversteers. It's one of those cars that's very, very hard to know exactly how it's going to react. And if you don't set it up right, it can easily just slide away from under you on any fast corners.
Yeah.
The default aggressive for around Spa, for example, if you try go down the back straight just through the kinks at the end before the bus stop chicane, if you don't quite get it right, the rear's going and off you go into a wall. So hopefully, actually, I don't know if Steve Parker's driving tonight. He was our resident drifter from the first race of the GT3 series, and he hadn't quite set up the diffuser balance right. So he was doing a lot of drifts going through signals at Paul Ricard. So he knows exactly what I mean. He knows what I'm talking about. And if he's here today, he's going to hope he's got the balance a little bit better than that.
Absolutely. My only experience with Demerck was in Spa, but Eau Rouge, I could not take it. I just had to like drop down the gear and slow down. I couldn't take it flat out. Yeah, it's just one of those cars. Here tonight with the understeer tendencies, I'd be a little bit worried if you're pushing it too much in a fight, because you know yourself, there's no real runoff here and you'll suffer. And I know you were saying there's you know, there's no 95% when you're racing. I think if you're racing smart, this is the track along with Misano where you don't give it everything, because you know, drive through track limits for me is a big issue. So you're better off driving it just a little bit less on the limit and then gain time from people getting drive-throughs.
But you say that this track doesn't lend itself to drive-throughs because of lack of runoff. The only place you can really pick them up is if you get the corkscrew wrong, or I think it's just before that on the drive up to the corkscrew on the kink. There's a chance that you can go off track without catching the sand on the outside, which is also a spot. But they're really the only two major places where we might see people actually getting track cuts. Otherwise, you end up in the sand and you just slow yourself down. But as we've now actually ticked over for the last bit of qualifying for these odd-numbered cars, so
wow.
This is the last chance anyone has to get a lap in, as we currently sit on with Van der Crown. We've got a Ferrari off in the background. That's their qualifying done and dusted. I don't think we've seen what the front of the grid looks like, so it's going to be a bit of a shock to some of us. Oh, here we go. So
wow,
we've got De Brouwer 12th. He's the last of the drivers in the top 15 going. We've got Porsche 1 and 2. They've not been moved off the top spot of Richardson and Grott. Mead moves his way up to 3rd in the Ferrari.
Which is a shock to see the Ferrari up there.
Yeah, it's jack of all trades, the Ferrari. Oh no, he's pushed it just a little bit too hard. We get a brilliant shot of the livery. I have to say, that looked beautiful, but not quite going the way he wanted it to on track. And I think that is the end of qualifying. So now, last 10 minutes, just people getting their drivers in that they want to start the race, and getting everything prepped and making sure that they're all ready for the 6 hours of Laguna Seca.
Absolutely. And so for anyone watching that isn't used to this, what would be your 3 things to tell them to look out for over the next 6 hours of racing? Because the story is not just at the start of this race, there is a middle and an ending. But would you believe what you see in the last 2 hours of the race as in order? You know, for anyone who's not really used to it, like the story that's going to be unfolding here with pit stop strategies, what would you think is going to happen when people try and do it in a 4-stop?
Well, I think realistically, based on just going full tanks, it's 3.8 full tanks or so. At least for our case in the Aston, it's that. So you have to basically at least 3-stop. It depends as well what people have done with drivers. If anyone's got more than 4 drivers, and you're forcing yourself to stop again, because if you don't have every driver in the car, you do end up getting a penalty at the end of the race if someone's not driven a stint. So I think a lot of it's going to be based on strategy, which does remind me I need to get pit wall up, because that is an invaluable piece of kit. And for anyone who's actually driving and hasn't got that open, that is going to be invaluable to you as well, because it will give you the information that you want on all the cars around you and what they're doing strategy-wise. So when did they pit? How long ago did they pit? Like, it might tell you how much damage they had when they pit. I'm not sure it's quite that in-depth. I haven't got the premium. But at the very least, you'll get a lot of information you require about how long they've been on the tires, whether you want to attack them or if they're fresh out the pits. So then you just maybe sit behind, you do a bit of fuel saving. And it also, I think, to be fair, it might give you an idea of how long people can be out for. When you're not too, when you don't have too much knowledge on the other cars and how much they can actually fuel for and how long their stints can be, and whether or not they need to fuel save to reach the 75-minute stint timers, which is, I think, what a lot of drivers are going to, a lot of teams are going to do, is just try and maximize the stint timers, so go the 75 minutes and then pit.
Yeah.
And you'll get an idea based on whether cars can or can't do that as well.
Yeah, there's one or two cars have a smaller fuel tank, so they'll struggle the likes of the McLaren.
Yeah, the Porsche is generally one that struggles for 75 minutes. There were a few complaints from Porsche drivers when they found out it was 75 minutes. Just because it does mean that they might have to alternate strategies a bit differently to what they initially were thinking, and can't just drive a car flat out till the end of their stint timer. But then, you know, that's the art of sim racing. That's what we can do to add an extra layer of strategy. It doesn't give them to just go fast, foot down, time's up, pit. You need to think more about your fuel usage. You need to think about your tire management, because if you start saving fuel and then you're not pushing the tires enough, your tires might underheat, and then that gives you more sliding, and then that can then cause further issues and drop you back into the pack. So there's a lot going on. There is a lot going on, and needless to say, I don't think we're going to see any of that in the first 20 minutes. It's just going to be flat out racing.
Yeah, no, I can just expect
they'll
it being
figure
crazy.
it out from there once it spreads out a little.
Yeah, I think you're right. The first 20 minutes needs to unfold, see if there is any incidents, anything like that as well. And then that's kind of, once you get through the first phase, it's then when you can kind of plan the race, really. Anyone that goes in with a game plan before that 20 minutes, half an hour mark, you're cutting yourself, really, because you need to be adaptable. But yeah, I think the 75-minute stint as well is a great thing. Like, I know some cars have a smaller tank, but that's racing. You know what I mean? You have to drive with the car that you're using, and that's it. Like, you don't hear people in the real GTs crying about that. You just have to get on with it.
Yeah, well, as we now sit in the lull before the big start of the race, how are you feeling? Where is your team sat then? Because I'm currently feeling quite good about my team, the Snack and Sons. We're P5, and if I find my sister team, the 21st, so we got a good spread.
Oh no, we're way behind you. We're down in 34th place, but to be honest with you, it's expected, because I don't race. I'm a commentator, but I'm going to be jumping in. We have Chris Tedder and Gary Smith, who only race Honda and Audi. I've made them jump on to Aston, and they've only had like a few days, so it's completely different kettle of fish from them. And we've got Matty Gamble, I think, is doing a first. And look, to be honest with you, I think they're going to make up we're going to be a team that's going to come up through the race. We're not out for qualifying pace, because, like, in fairness, I'm going to ruin us anyway. But before that, I think the guys are going to do a great job by their consistent season drivers. Matty Gamble's super fast, as is Tedder, and Gary Smith. They be like some of the fastest drivers in the leagues that we're in, as well then as Chris Wall is an amazingly talented guy, and then there's me, who's going to bring them down. But as I say, honestly, I expect us to, if we get into 20 or above, I'll be happy.
Well, yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said consistency. That's what league racing's all about for endurance. That is the one sort of piece of the puzzle. If you don't have consistency, it doesn't matter how fast you are on a 1-lap pace, you won't win the race.
100%.
You can easily be like 2-3 tenths faster than another driver, but if you're ending up losing 4 seconds for every 10 laps because you've ended up in the gravel, or you end up hitting another car, picking up some damage, you're going to cause yourself more issues than if you were just, say, that couple tenths, you just a little bit more reserved, as you were mentioning earlier. Yeah, maybe actually they don't go that 100%. They just drop it back a little, 97, 96. Just stay in the comfort zone, drive the car to the ability that they know they can get it around the track without issues, and that will give them such a benefit than if they pushed it and smashed a curb and ended up facing backwards.
Yeah, 100%. Like, look, from my experience of doing commentating, because look, I've got to watch some great races over, like, this span I've been commentating, and what I've always noticed is this: a lot of the faster drivers that aren't eSport drivers still drive the race 110% and do make those errors and cost themselves 5 to 10 seconds. Now, this track, as you say, mightn't be as susceptible, but other tracks, track limits, they're getting drive-throughs and silly things that shouldn't be happening. Well, you get the guys who are just maybe a few tenths behind them, but have that consistency. And for me, when it comes to racing, it's the consistent drivers make the biggest moves. Now, obviously, there's a few guys that are just naturally fast and consistent, and they're a pleasure to watch. Like, to be honest with you, I love watching the super fast guys that just, they have their head about them as well. But unfortunately, yeah, if you're super fast and you don't rein it back a bit and you still try to drive at that qualifying pace, especially over race distance with a full tank, you're asking for trouble.
Yeah, and well, one thing about endurance racing as well, as we sit here waiting for the race to begin, is you don't win the race on the first corner. No matter, like, even with 30-minute races, even with like 20-minute sprint races, you don't win the race on the first corner. No matter how much you try and drill that into someone, that goes out the window. That always goes out the window 100%. As soon as you have the car and the lights go green. It's just bang, we're doing this.
Yeah.
Whether or not we'll see the downside of those attempts here is another question. But you need to be aware enough that if someone does go for the lunge, they don't compromise your race. But at the same time, you can't give them too much space, because then you'll get swamped by the guys behind and end up losing a load of places and end up where you don't want to be. So it's about give and take when it comes to this first corner.
I think it's just using your head.
Push yourself. Yeah, I think a lot of it is that. It's pushing yourself, but not overdoing it and putting other drivers at risk.
The biggest thing and the biggest tip I give anyone, no matter where they're starting on a grid or wherever they race, is simply this: if you know someone's going to make that lunge, it's sometimes better to give them the space to let them run wide or do what they need to do, because sometimes that lunge, if you hold that line, is going to be an absolute accident. So you got to think smart. If you think they've done a ridiculous lunge and you avoided the action, I'd still report it, just for the simple fact to show that you had to make avoiding action for it not to be a crash. You can also report that, and I don't know, it depends on the student team whether they'll see the full story and help that way. But at the end of the day, be smart. Don't compromise your own race. If you realise someone's going to make a lunge, or even if someone that's behind you is after pitting and is super fast, it's sometimes better to let them by and not lose time fighting them just for the track position if you're on completely different strategies. I don't know whether you'd agree with that, but
yeah, no, I think with regarding to that, those attempted dive bombs and possible murders, so to speak, in our sim racing language, it's one of those that I think Simsport International pretty good at spotting and picking up, and they do dish out penalties. I've seen those given in the past. Nothing major. They're usually just like 5 seconds. It's a slap on the wrist, basically telling you got away with that because the other driver was vigilant. Yeah. But that could have been a lot worse for both of you. So keep your head on a little bit more and be a little bit more wary of what you're doing going forwards.
Yeah. Yeah, well, once they have the awareness as well, as I say, with people fighting behind, and especially the lap cars, I don't think I've found a league yet where lap cars really put up too much of a fight and block race. I think a lot of people that are actually consistently racing in leagues and the likes of in SSRI and elsewhere, they have good etiquette that way on the blue flag conditions.
Well, I think a lot of it comes down to, if there's a faster guy. This is also if you're racing for position and they're a faster guy, you don't want the added stress of having that guy showing his nose into certain corners and possibly pushing that a little bit too far. You want them to you want to get out their way and just go with your race, be comfortable in the car as much, because that's when you're going to get the best out of yourself and out of the car, is when you're comfortable and you're happy. If you've got something in your rearview mirror scaring you every other corner, thinking, oh God, he's going to kill me, he's going to hit me, he's going to spin me, you just let them by. And I think that's what a lot of people actually are quite happy to do when it comes for letting the leaders go through. It's just going a little bit wider in the corner, giving them the apex, and just say, "Hey, here you go."
Yeah.
So it's what I like to do. I try and minimize. Obviously, you want to minimize your losses when you're letting lap cars through, because you want to keep pushing as much as possible yourself. But you got to remember that anyone that you're around is also going to be in the same position as you. They're also going to have those cars coming through. Maybe it's just before you, maybe it's just after you. So it's a win-loss for everyone on the grid, and it's just how well you're able to manage that and reduce the losses.
Yeah.
And if you find a good spot, say you run deep in turn 1 and you just give them the apex, and you know that you're going to have so much more joy moving forwards. And if you then can try and just sit on the back of them for a little bit, maybe it gives you an opportunity to sneak through the guy ahead if once they're lapping them. Yeah. So there's a lot that having these lap cars can both be beneficial and detrimental to your race.
Yeah, the only one thing I'm terrified of tonight is if I see anyone side by side going into the corkscrew, it can only end one way. So I'm hoping we don't see that.
Well, I have to say I did that with my now teammate in a previous endurance race when we were racing against each other. I was the defending car, and she shoved it down the inside for the first part of it. We got through fine, but then the cars had a little bonk, and she went spinning off to the left, and I continued like nothing was wrong.
It's so easy to happen there because it's actually a much more tighter corner than people realise through the apexes. It's very, very tight with the line that you need to take to make that corner.
Well, we actually got through the apex, like the corner's fine. On exit, just drifted slightly towards each other. It was just a racing incident, but yeah, as she says in chat, it was more netcode than anything else, but it just unsettled her Honda a little bit too much, and off she went spinning.
Wow.
As you can see, we've got 15 seconds now until the formation lap gets underway, so the pressure's building for all the drivers. It's getting more and more realistic what they've just got themselves into.
I think it's excitement, not pressure. It's the excitement, the build up to this, because
it depends on your expectations. I think a lot of it. So all these guys at the top, I'd say the top 15, probably looking at maybe it wouldn't be the case for all of them, I'm sure, but some of them will be thinking about, you know what, I want to be leading this race. I want to be a race winner in an endurance race. I want to push it. So their expectation is to win, and anything less than that is going to be a loss for them, essentially. It just depends how competitive you are. But in that case, there is always going to be pressure because you've given yourself the pressure of an achievement that is very, very difficult to take, because only one person at the end of it's going to take that, only one team will. If the aim of your race is to enjoy it, which I think a lot of these guys will, just enjoy it and get the experience and have a good time with racing with your friends, which is not something you get to happen every day. Those guys are going to be they'll still feel nerves, but they'll be a lot more exciting for them. And I hope most of the guys on the grid are going to be like that, because that's when you race, I think, better as well, because you're not going for the stupid moves.
I would agree with that. But to be honest with you, I think every driver here is a seasoned driver as well. I think they're all going to enjoy it. I have faith here. I'm going to make a bold claim: no incident at turn 1. That's how much I believe in these drivers.
Oh wow. Okay, I like it. I'm going to have to go against you. Not just to add a bit of
to be the villain
country rivalry, but I do think there will be, if you know, I think the minimum is someone's going to end up in the gravel on the outside. Like, there is going to be at least one car in the gravel on the outside. Whether or not we see any cars facing the wrong way after the first corner, I really hope we don't, because it's going to, like, even if it happens in the sort of upper mid-pack, it's going to affect everyone behind. There's just going to be a bit of a traffic jam, and that's going to stretch out the grid at the start of the race, which is the last thing we want. We want to keep these cars as close as possible for as long as possible to give us and the viewers and everyone else, and the drivers included, a brilliant racing experience.
Yeah, to be honest with you,
the race lead in the final place guy.
Yeah, just looking there at the race leader going round, and that's I have to say one thing. Hats off to Chris Hill. The stream is looking phenomenal, having the 2 different angles up at the minute and the amazing graphics there as well. Guys in SSRI, to be fair about it, I've been doing broadcasting myself for a long time. They're second to none. I don't think I've found a better broadcasting team with the effort that they put in and the detail as well, guys. So enjoy the view of this stream as well. Visually, it's absolutely phenomenal. It's probably better than you'd see in the real GT racing. And that's not me being biased.
And we are prepping now to start the race. We've got the leader and last place on camera. And we are green light racing here at Laguna Seca for the 6 hours of SimSport Racing International's endurance race. Are we going to get any incidences turn 1?
Don't let me down,
asked
lads.
The question. We've asked the question. So far, so good from the front end. So far, so good from the back end. I think you may have called it.
Get on.
Oh, we've got a bit of a knock.
No!
I called it. We've got it. Penultimate car.
Well, that wasn't really an incident.
Oh, and turn 2, we've got more of an incident.
Oh,
We've
wow.
got a big incident actually at turn 3.
Oh,
Cars
wow.
backwards, sideways. Oh no, we were getting carried away with turn 1. It was turn 3 where it was definitely going to have the issues.
Wow. But a massive change up in the field there as well already. You see the standards board is having a busy time swapping around there. But, you know, McConnell had a great start in that Ferrari, up into second position already. I really do feel favoured, though, a Porsche could end up winning this race, just how good they have been. But McConnell there is probably going to be a little surprise to us. Depends, obviously, look, it's only the start of the race with 6 hours to go.
Oh, we've got an incident in the corkscrew too. I think it might just be one car, the 54 is the one flashing up, no one else seemingly involved. But
Grand.
yeah, just mentioning Ben McConnell here, he is a Assetto Corsa's community manager, so you know, we've got a bit of high-end ACC man in Gold, and he's just, well, he'd technically taken the fastest lap until my teammate stole it off him. But the gap growing at the lead, because I think the Porsche is just a bit stronger here. But we've got Brott looking around the outside into P2. Whether or not he can hold it, it's a tough position to overtake around the outside. But if you can hold that, it does give you the inside from turn 3. Unfortunately for him, hasn't. But look at the gap that's just allowed to grow.
Unbelievable.
Almost 2 seconds already.
And I just want to give a shout out to my teammate from 34th into 22nd there on the stream, guys. That's the start and a half. I just have to do it. I'm biased. But honestly, looking there at the minute, Toby as well in the Aston is giving Zagrotti quite a bit of pressure, which I wouldn't have expected this early on. Oh, and I'm so sad my livery isn't working. I'll have to get you to sort that for the next day, Chris. That's my own personal livery, but I will be putting on a different team livery for that. But fair play to Matty there. But guys, honestly, up at the front though, I'm very impressed so far with how close they're all racing. And the gaps are still super, super close. And even in the mid-pack there, we're on with a Persoloni. Or Pellilone. I'm not going to pronounce that name.
Pelliccioni.
Giovanni. There you go. How are you, Giovanni? I butcher your name.
You gotta give it the
you.
Italian oomph, the little bit extra.
The Irish accent do that.
It's just natural to throw that out.
Well, I like pasta, so I like him.
Yeah. Oh, the number 2's just binned it in the second half of. Yeah, they've dropped down to last now. Unfortunate, but lots to go. Speaking of lots to go, lots of battles going on here at the top end. We got the fastest lap now from the Lexus in 7th place. They're trying to catch on to the back of this group here. They've just, I think they've just managed to get away from De Brouwer. So Mackenberg really giving it some beans in this early stage. The Lexus is probably the fastest car in a straight line. At the moment. We're at the top end. The problem with Laguna is you only get to that top end really at the end of the start-finish line, but that's probably also your best overtaking spot. So for them, you'll probably be seeing the Lexus do most of its moves into the turn. Well, it's turn 1 or is it turn 2? Because there is that kink on the straight, and I'm not quite sure if that's classified as.
I think it is classified. I think it is. Oh no, not the kink. Sorry, no, the tiny kink. I don't think is. Yeah, turn 1 and turn 2. I think it is. It would be down to the end of the hill. But just looking there as well, guys, I think you've hit the nail on the head though at the top end. So because it's not a top end track, that's why the likes of the Porsche, the Ferrari, and the Honda with acceleration are all up there. that mechanical grip coming out of a corner and just absolutely nailing it, as that's the reason why they'd be faster over one lap. But the Porsches, though, way better on the tyres than the Honda as well, and that's why I do feel here genuinely the likes of even is it the Bauer in 8th position, I think will end up a few positions higher up by the end of this race as well. Obviously instance not making any kind of impact on their race, hopefully.
Replay coming up, what happened at the corkscrew?
We've just had a third take on the corkscrew as we go back to see the initial corkscrew interaction, which unfortunately involved cars and was not just the drivers themselves. Bit messy, very messy. That Ferrari getting a little bit too eager on the rejoin. I'm not sure reversing onto the track was the best play. They thankfully realized that would have been a major mistake and jumped out of that. Because that would have just got a lot worse. But so far, I think we've only had 3 yellow flag incidences through the corkscrew. We did obviously have that larger one in turn 3. But so far, the grid sort of it's spreading out nicely, I'd say. We've got a good old snake going round. But speaking of, 43 now, having a moment. Not sure where exactly that is.
Coming down off the corkscrew.
Yeah, and 54 again in the corkscrew. They've just gone straight on.
Well, Chris Hill's going to be busy with replays.
If he wants to show them. So, but right now we've still got a lot of battles going on. Pelliccioni was the man you were trying to attempt, and he's dropped a good few spots.
Oh wow!
Whether or not that was assisted or just a loss of grip going through the left-hander after the corkscrew is something we might be able to find out thanks to Chris's replay ability. But they've lost another spot to Van Drunen now, down to 31st after being, I think it was like 17th or 18th. So that's a tough fight.
Definitely.
Long race to go, and if they've got the speed, can easily start making their way back up through the grid, and it might just give them a bit more out of it because you've got to do a lot of overtakes now, and that's always fun. As we get a yellow flag from the 27 off facing the wrong way, it might have had a knock.
My teammate, oh no. But I have to say there's been I think it's been very clean racing all in all so far for such the size of grid.
Your teammate just went into the ground.
Replay now,
interesting.
54. Where are you?
Where's
Get a replay of
so going up
incident, the hairpin again. So I think this might have been what caused the incident. Just squeezed Aston a little bit on the outside. Unfortunately, I have to put that on the Ferrari as well. Just didn't give the Aston enough racing room.
Agreed.
Obviously, it's for the stewards to decide, but I probably more still so of a racing incident. Just a little bit too much of a squeeze. Trying to open up the corner, but hey, we've got a lot of the race to go. We'll probably see a few more incidences like that, just not quite leaving the room, maybe not realizing just how wide their opponent's car was.
Yeah, I think that's going to be probably the biggest issue when guys are going side by side, especially up to the corkscrew. It's very, very hard with the kink on the hill because you naturally want to go around to the right to open up the corner, but if there's someone there, you really need to be absolutely on it with spatial awareness, and unfortunately that time round they didn't realise how big the Aston is, I suppose. But look, they learned from that. Luckily enough, it didn't cost a massive amount of time for either car, but it's a learning curve.
The Porsche's gone. The Porsche's gone. We've just seen it behind here, watching Van der Linden. Karna's just had a little bit of a moment and gone nose first into the tyre barrier.
The pendulum.
Yeah, one of those that you catch the outside sand. It's so easy to do, just trying to push the line, carry a bit too much speed. Car's looking a little bit battered, unfortunately for them. So we might... Yeah. I don't think we've seen any pits yet. I think everyone's still trying to hang it out because obviously we've not even done 10 minutes yet.
I don't know if I'd hang it out with that amount of front damage because it's aero dependent as well.
Well, it depends how the car feels and how badly it affects a lap time.
Yeah.
Whether or not... Because if it's still drivable and only like half a second down a lap, it's well, half a second is a good amount still. So we've got double yellow just flash up on the car. I'm not sure. The 720 having a moment into the final corner.
Okay.
It's one of them that I think it's down to the drivers. That'll be internal discussions to see will it cost us more to go in now mess up our initial strategy, because pitting now will definitely still have 3 more stops to go at the end of the race. You've barely covered any ground at this point, but will that be more beneficial in the long run, or will just hanging it out and losing, say, 3-4 tenths a lap still save you more time than if you were to pit? Now that's where the maths comes in.
I don't know. If that was me, I'd be like, lads, I'm just going to double stint this one. I'm going to pit now, fresh tyres, and just get as far up now in clean air. Because he could focus on, although if he pit now, actually, no, he won't rejoin in clean air by the time he comes out, depending on the amount of damage.
You're ending up swallowed by the pack, so that's probably another big factor. You don't want to be swallowed this soon because of how close a lot of these cars are. As we see the Aston of Zweerink, I'm probably sure I butchered that. He's just gone deep into the final corner and lost 3 places. Well, 2, but he was trying to make a move on the Mercedes ahead, which seems to be a little bit of a cork in the bottle for these guys right now.
Yeah, I see Chris Vickers in the mix there as well. That's a guy who I think has made massive progress over the last few months and is after getting very, very fast and very, very consistent as well. And that's the team. That team there with Chris Vickers, I think they're going to be ones to at least be in the top 10 by the end of this race. I think they're...
From last season, I remember them always being one of those that were in and around the top 10. So I'm not sure if they've been caught up in a bit of an incident, currently being sat down in 23rd. I'm not aware of where they qualified.
Either am I,
they do
actually.
seem, at least at the moment, a little bit out of place. As the corkscrew claims its 4th victim.
Oh, wow.
That's one where you've just put the power down too early. That's the only way you end up out there, and it's...
Divorce.
Oh, it's the 93 that we saw having its sideways moment in qualifying as well. Down 17. It was in 17th on the back of my sister car.
Luckily, no damage.
Whether or not they will be now. Yeah, I think it's one of those that it's the only thing that you get damaged there is your own sort of
stupidity.
Yeah, it's embarrassment that you get from that, because it's one that you literally just slide out. You end up facing the wrong way, and you need to do like a 3-point turn, and then you got to be aware, are there cars coming or they're not. It'll cost you about 25-26 seconds, but at least it's just that and no extra on the car itself.
Yeah, and even looking at Locke versus Giovanni behind, I'm not going to attempt a second name again. That's looking like that's going to be an interesting battle. Ferrari versus McLaren, along with the Porsche there. Now, I do feel the Porsche, if they can get their head down again and get their composure, should pull away again. But I think these 3 might have a good fun battle for at least another 5-10 laps.
We've had a moment just ahead. The 89's gone a bit slow. They've dropped. So DeVos ended up dropping 13 places. And then this Ferrari ahead, the 89's gone from 21st now down into 29th as well from an incident. So as you can see, anything affecting these drivers right now is we've got a massive bundle of cars getting their way through the corkscrew. A few 2 wides as well. Somehow all of them still going straight. Your teammate's involved in there.
Yeah, he's back into it, thankfully. But it's great to see all the battles still, no matter where you are, the front or the back. You can see the spread out into groups now, looking on the track map there. But some great battling. Go on, Matty, keep it clean. Good man.
I'm not sure if that's making a move or not, because it was hard to judge exactly where these cars were.
I think that was defending. Actually, that was a move. That was a move.
Now we have a quick look at the replay of the Porsche just to see exactly what happens. Looks like there's no issues, yeah, so just...
Too early.
Too early on the power, and he gets a bit of modesty hiding behind the trees. So.
The walk of shame, like Mick Hakkinen back in Monza, back in the day when he dropped it there and he sat at the trees crying, unfortunately, and in endurance you can't cry, you get back on with it.
Oh, we've got a first pit stop actually as well. The number 2 car is in. So he's the first one into the pits. Guessing it must be carrying too much damage.
Well, that's brave, because you're going to be blue flagged.
There is the chance that they... well, I was going to say there is the chance that they've, I don't know, not fueled properly, but that could have been an RTG, because they're technically already 2 laps down, it says, so I'm not quite sure how long they've been sat in the pits. But that is not good, whether it's mechanical issues or not. If anyone is aware of their situation in the chat and can let us know, it'd be greatly appreciated. But that's the last thing you want to see only 15 minutes into the first endurance race of the season.
100%, but 2 laps.
It's difficult to capture it.
That's so true. Poor old Chris there with so much action is under pressure. But to be fair, they're only 2 laps down in a 6-hour endurance. That can still be a few places gained by the end of the race, so it's obviously still worth fighting their way through if they are able to get back out if there's no major issues.
That doesn't look possible right now though, because there's been no movement in there at all.
That's worrying.
So unfortunately, car 2 looks to be experiencing some form of technical issue. And you said you were defending against Van Drunen here, but the Ferrari of Snennen seems to be applying a bit more pressure, which is allowing you just to escape a little right now.
Yeah, look, Matty Campbell, he's out of position. He was up further as he's after going through the ground. He's from Northern Ireland.
Issues not looking brilliant right now.
His hamster mustn't be working that internet just right. But
applied a lot of pressure onto the BMW, maybe trying to force him to brake a little bit deep. As have we got a McLaren possibly going around ahead? It's had a moment and
it looks like he got it. He got it through.
Avoided incident, but 3 cars have snuck through now. BMW forced him to check up, and now you're going around the outside. Gamble. This McLaren having a lot of issues.
Whoa.
Oh God, what's just happened then? I'm not sure. That probably spooked everyone else in the cars as well.
Oh my God.
But so far, so good, I think.
That was a squeaky bum moment for anyone on that track. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the connection there. Hopefully it sorted itself out, but good racing from everyone else all around as well. And that BMW, it's a bit of a trippy looking livery, but I do like it. The Target BMW I'm calling it. I know there was another name for it, but...
Yeah, it is a nice one, and actually you've got a green lookalike just ahead in the Porsche of levels. So there's the sister team.
Oh.
Mode 11. As we've got 34s down behind, yellow flag for them. I'm not sure.
As Matty's after camping around the outside.
Oh, that's not a pretty looking Aston on the front anymore. That's the that's the Sim Sport car, I think. One of them.
Sim Racing Holland.
Wow.
Sim Racing Holland. So one of the, I think there's a few of those on track. So this one, the 34 of Eric de Jong, not having a great time, unfortunately.
Yeah, there was car 12 and car 6, I think.
Wow. And I suppose with the Aston, there's going to feel that hopefully it's not too bad. Once it's, as you say, within a few tenths to maybe half a second max, you should be able to, like, to be honest, looking at the track, the way it's spread out, it's not really worth pitting to be blue flagged. I think you're better off just kind of driving it out to the end of your stint and work around whatever damage is there or whatever aero inconsistency there is down with the front of the car.
Yeah, you want to try and just keep going to your strategy as much as possible. I think if you do mess up, and as long as you have limited damage and can carry on, I think it is the best play to carry on. As we've just hopped on board with Van Drunen just as he goes drifting off.
I think that was me.
Corner first into a wall. I think that one you got to blame Chris for. Jumps on just at the moment where that front right goes slamming into a tie barrier.
He didn't look like he got major damage from it, yeah.
No, it doesn't look too bad, but the car clearly is not handling well because they almost had another moment, and now they've got the 54 Ferrari to deal with. So we're looking at the steering wheel now, and this is a straight line driving Van Drunen right now. So I think this is one of the cars that is going to have to pit.
Well, it's great for right-hand turns. I'd be
surprised if they don't have a meatball flag.
Yeah, 100%. They'll be driving the ovals backwards. Yeah, he'll have to come in. There's no way around that. That's just, yeah. Look at the pain of him trying to get in there.
Yeah. Now the question would be, where did they end up? Because I think if they had the choice, you'd want to be somewhere. Well, the 269s just had an issue, so they left a nice gap sort of midway through the field. You want to find one of those gaps if possible. Obviously, we're not anywhere near good enough to time it to figure out. But if someone out there is, and with that amount of damage, you're looking at least probably 25-30 seconds, I think, as well on top of the 30-second pit. They'll switch tires because they're not going to be pretty as well.
I'd say about a minute and 20 odd seconds, being honest, with the amount of damage that's on that car.
Well, that will not be too far off just a full lap then, so they might end up where they were, just a lap down to their rivals.
Yeah, I reckon that's realistically it, because the pit lane there is quite long. They were lucky enough that they're one of the first pit boxes, but that's a long way to go. And then especially the pit exit as well, it's such a tight one, and a lot of people, that's something we should watch out for as well. People do get that pit exit very, very wrong at that tight left hand turn as well, and lose way more time than going onto the stand.
Yeah, and I don't want to say much here because I've been called out for cursing our team so far, but we're currently sat the mid piece of a 5-way battle here.
Nice.
From 3rd down to 6th, 7th. So it's a bit of an interesting one. This we seem to be a bit of an outlier. The Aston Martin sat in a Porsche, Ferrari, and then 2 Hondas behind. Like,
other than the Porsche, I think he'll jump up a few positions.
Massively round. We've got the 919 has had a moment from 7th.
Ooh.
They've dropped way down. They're still yellow flagging it in the corkscrew. Oh no, 7th place and just about sneaking through. And this is the same livery as the other one, so I'm guessing they've got a
yeah, it's Sim Racing Belgium.
So Sim Racing Belgium here, they've got at least a couple cars, and both of them have now had major incidences through the corkscrew. Whether or not
I think he's 16th now, is he?
It's
yes.
probably still dropping. Yeah, 16th. So a loss of 9. It doesn't sound the worst when you consider how long he was yellow flagged for, but if you consider how far down he is on track from where he was in position,
yeah,
it's not pretty.
No, that's very unfortunate. Look at that Nissan though. Go on. I love it. I just love the fact that they put a Nissan into this and are in the top 10 and fighting for P9.
It's mode 11 again, so we've got 3 target cars. We've got the red one, the classic. We've got a green Porsche, and we've got a blue Nissan.
I love it. Do you know something? It's not a car I enjoy drive, but I just love seeing it on the track.
And ironically enough, they're chasing an American-looking Mercedes.
Oh yeah, that's Morgan and Skylar Davis. I know the guys in that car. The Americans. Yeah, them guys are very, very fast in that Merc as well, so that'll be interesting to see how the battle goes, because in fairness, that GTR, the driver must be absolutely on top of it, because that Skyline wouldn't be, if about a second and a half slower a lap, I would assume, like under a normal driver compared to these faster cars of the newer Evos.
Well, regarding that, I believe the GT3 race on Tuesday is also here, and my teammate Alex Crawford, who will probably be in the car after us, the Nissan goes a bit cheeky, looks for a move at the inside of the hairpin there, but actually seems to have compromised his exit for the next corner. Yeah, he does not like the feel of the Nissan on this track at all. He drives a Nissan in the GT3 for a bit of fun, because he does like the look of the car, but yeah, he's not a fan of the Nissan around Laguna. So
look at the Nissan here though,
Alex, if you're watching, this is how you drive a Nissan around here.
Yeah.
It does seem to be quite competitive if you're in the right hands.
Very impressive, very, very impressive. Does he keep it true? He does with the Lexus. Oh no, it's a Beamer right behind him as well there, Thielen. Your man in the Lexus is a Van der Vaart. He is doing quite an impressive job. He's only 0.7 of a second off there in 12th position. And I reckon he could be one that's probably waiting his time, maybe let the boys fight ahead, cause a bit of an incident, and then go.
Yeah, well, this is the bit where they're strongest. So that Audi closed in a little, but as soon as they get onto the straight, it's going to be a bit iffy. And moving back up to the front end of the grid, we've got Matt Tubby on board with, still trying to hunt down the P3 of Grot, who was actually someone I was racing last night in the 2.4 hour around Bathurst in the GT4s. He won that and I finished second, so it seems like we're holding station again as to how it happened yesterday, ironically enough. But the Hondas behind were having a little bit of a battle, and I think just given Matt the chance maybe to try and line up a move without the risk of putting himself offline and having a dive from the cars behind.
Yeah, it's unreal. I'm looking here though as well with Grotti is, I think he's looking to try and find a way up, but it just doesn't seem like. Trying to think of the time of popping up there. So he's what, 6/10 off. Do you reckon he's able to make the move happen? As there is a back marker there, I suppose, assisting him.
Well, this will be the thing. It's how Ben's able to maneuver past the back marker, which is actually, I think that's the car too that we saw in the pits for a while. So they've clearly got a good bit of pace about them, because they're not exactly holding these guys up right now. So whatever issues that they had, it's rather unfortunate. But yeah, right now they're showing a good bit of pace, but it doesn't seem to be doing the Ferrari any favors driving around in the dirty air of the Audi, because as you were mentioning, Grot is suddenly all over the back of him. He's gonna go for an attempt here through the corkscrew, backs out of it.
I think that was the better option.
The Ferrari's line a little, not quite, but now the Aston's getting very eager to have a look, because made that push a little bit slower. You can see the different lines that they take as well through the downhill left-hander, and I'm sure without a doubt these two Hondas will be right back up on this tail before the end of the lap. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Oh, this is making it quite spicy, but the thing about it is as well, Richardson's probably loving this because he's just able to pull away. Like, these guys are fighting hard with a back marker ahead of them, and the race leader now is nearly close enough to 5 seconds clear, which is amazing.
Yeah, and as long as the Audi doesn't defend when it comes to Ben making a move, it should be fine. The problem that the Ferrari has is he's got less straight line speed than the Audi. We saw that quite evidently through the start-finish line, because the Audi was able to gap him a little even with the Ferrari in tow. So it's one of those that, just saying that, we do see him start the maneuver. So now, can he use this back marker for a bit of leverage and just get a bit of a gap? Finally able to make the gap. What's the Porsche going to do behind? We saw him make an attempt on the Ferrari into...
Great driving from the back marker.
Yeah, does sneak through, but it's now holding up my teammate, and he's got
what you want to see.
That's the last thing I want to see. But he's snuck through the inside, so that's a great move. The Audi being very generous on where it's allowing these overtakes to happen. And now I think the Honda's been aggressive there, shoved it up the inside, but still just about managed to make the move. So Audi doing I'd say a fantastic job of limiting their losses and maximizing opportunities for these guys to get past. So very well done from the back marker there.
I'll tell you one thing though, at the minute McConnell's under severe pressure because that Porsche is not going anywhere. Either is your teammate as well. They're all sitting up queuing, so as you say, it's a cork in the bottle at the minute. I do feel
where's he going? Oh no, and he's been tapped from behind. Oh, and there's the breathing room. There it is. And actually, we've just seen another position lost from
the Honda.
The Honda's now sneaking through. I'm not sure how much damage the Aston's picked up, the 990 Snackinsons, but the Porsche losing it all on his own just caused a catastrophe of issues. And suddenly, the Ferrari of Ben McConnell is a very happy man.
Out of nowhere, just gets given the biggest gift. Take a bit of pressure off, and I'd say he can look after his tyres a bit more. He's not having to over push now to hold position. He can kind of take a small breather. I know it's only 2 seconds or so, or 3 seconds, but It's enough. Your poor teammate, though, hopefully does not major damage there. The fact that the car was already mainly around, I hope not.
I'd hope it's nothing serious, but he's clearly not too happy because he's pushing the limits right now. Yeah, the Honda of Dan Lenson took full advantage of the fact that Matt had to just lift up slightly to try and avoid the spinning Porsche. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite enough to fully get out of the way and allowed the Honda to slip through. And I think since then, yeah, it's just got a bit spicier. The tensions just heated up a little bit in the rigs for these drivers, but so far so good. It's stayed clean. I just need I'd like to see Matt just relax a little bit. He looks a little bit on edge right now.
I think that's just natural after something like that, and you're kind of having to compose yourself, get the adrenaline out of that moment, and kind of get your head back into the game. It only just take a lap or two for that to happen. But a great gift there for Lenson in third position, gets 2 positions, and you know, essentially when you're sitting in that podium position, you do seem to relax a bit more. I know I personally find that once you're kind of up in the top kind of 3 positions, and you know there's a little bit of a gap, and now that he knows there would be a tiny bit of damage on the Aston as well, I'm sure he's relaxing a little bit there now.
Car thankfully looks pretty good still on the front right,
it does,
which is where the contact happens. So it's minimal, if anything. It's just a bit of yeah, just a bit more on the... As actually, we've got a multiple car incident on the 3rd or 4th corner there. That's the 33, and there's another one still off track,
34,
moving around slowly.
yeah.
I'm not quite sure what's gone on there, but there were definitely multiple cars involved. The same corner as where we saw the Porsche go around. Grot did only end up losing... Well, he lost about 5 spots and a bit of pride, I think.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately for him, it was all down to just a little bit of oversteer, which caused the whole thing. But as soon as they've got a bit of clean room, Lenson and Tubby have flown away from Fitzpatrick. There's a 1.5 second gap now behind, and that just seems to be constantly increasing. So looks like Grot might have actually been a cork in the bottle of all these guys.
Possibly, actually, being honest. Well, about that incident there, like they're after pulling back in a bit of time on McConnell. So to be honest with you, I still think McConnell is the cork in the bottle, but it's definitely made a difference. I think maybe even, do you know when you see an incident and you're sitting behind, so like the Fitzpatrick who was up closer, it could play with you a little bit, and then you kind of lose that momentum, you break that concentration. It depends on the driver. Some people, if they break concentration once, they struggle to get it fully back.
No, I'm one of those. I know exactly what you mean. It take like once I get into the groove of things and I'm focused on like a car ahead or behind, I'm on it. But as soon as I get like a bit of free air or something happens, it can easily take 5, 6, 7 laps just to find that groove again. And in those 6, 7 laps, yeah, it's just mistake after mistake, just a little bit too eager, just pushing a bit too much and a little bit off. But Matt seems to be right back on it again. He's all over the back of this Honda once more, just trying to make sure that he's aware that he's there. Maybe force him into another error like he did with the... Oh, that was a little bit of a moment there. Just had to take a sharp intake of breath. He is really pushing right now. He is making this Aston as big as possible in the Honda's mirrors. Just gotta hope that he doesn't overdo it and put us in a wall.
Honestly, I think he just has to bide his time another 10 minutes. The Aston is a much better race car than the NSX.
Oh, he's been compromised a little there.
Luckily enough, he can run the curve.
Spot to find a slow car on the inside of the King. Yeah, you can look at the gap that's just been pulled out.
Yeah.
Replay of car 33.
So we're on now with car 33. Oh, I'd actually blame the NSX for that one.
Unfortunately, I missed that because my Discord just decided to restart, so I'll have to catch it on the live stream.
Yeah, so it was basically the NSX there went for a bit of a lunge. It was a half-hearted lunge more than anything else, I think, and caused just a collision between both of them.
Oh yeah, I think that one's pretty cut and dry. I just spotted it now on the main broadcast. Unfortunate for the Mercedes. And especially afterwards, because he then just put a little bit too much throttle in and looped it once more.
And that's what we were talking about at the start of the race. It's all about picking your moments to overtake and knowing when to overtake, because those lunges, they do be looked at by the stewards. Even though it didn't cost a massive amount of time, they could still get a penalty for it. And at the end of the day, you don't want to impede anyone else's race with a silly move. You can kind of be patient and wait. You know, there's plenty of overtaking opportunities over the next 5 hours and 25 minutes.
Yeah, so Grot's actually not looking too pretty, this Porsche right now. The one that was in third previously. Now at the back of a bit of a group here, you've got the Lexus of Van der Vaart, which I'm fairly sure that those guys know each other. So whether or not they'll be working together is another question. But so far they've got the Audi of Hartwich to deal with in the middle, and the Lexus has still not been able to get past Morgan there in the 76.
Unbelievable.
Mercedes, so.
Morgan's doing a great job. And just a note on that Porsche as well, after he got tapped on the rear, and we know how much the Porsche is rear dependent with the wing and that, so I'm wondering, is there much damage to the back of that car with the diffuser and the wing, because that's going to be a massive impedance then for a Porsche. Normally the front isn't too bad, it's the rear end you really need to protect on that car.
It'd be interesting to see, with the onboard, just how much counter steering have to be done, because if they have got, as you say, a little bit of issue on the rear, that's going to be a bit lighter than they'd like, so it won't offer quite as much grip. So we'll see how much counter steering is indeed possible, thanks to Chris just popping us on. But
yeah, doesn't look like there's any.
So far so good. Maybe it could easily be managed by throttle application as well if needs be, but
yeah,
I think it's all good.
Yeah, it looks good. Lucky man, because they're such a rear dependent car. Oh, as it looked like there's a BMW after spinning off there.
Oh no. And we've got a multiple car incident as well down in turn 1. The 221 and the 11.
This is a battle and a half going on with the guys. So we're on here now with 221 in the Mercedes. That was Anderson. Another guy I actually know. These guys, if I remember right, are from Sweden and Netherlands, possibly, or Denmark and the Netherlands. Yeah. And they, over in a endurance series that we run, they came forth and they actually drove from one country to just have pizza to celebrate. I thought it was hilarious. Them guys are great crack.
Yeah, well, Oliver's one who joins us in the booth as well on occasion, so it's unfortunate that they've been involved in an incident, but seem to be doing all right in the mid pack at the moment. The car is a little bit scratched up, but fingers crossed it's nothing major and they're able to continue.
They will, and you know something, they'll probably laugh about that and just continue on. They've got the greatest attitude to racing, that team, in fairness, from what I know of them. You know, no matter what's thrown at them, they just enjoy it.
Replay of what happened.
Alright, so here's the replay of what happened. So I think it's the BMW, because I spotted them still behind. So yeah, BMW just got a little bit too easy. There was never quite the opportunity for an overtake to happen.
The sausage carved through the front of it though as well.
Just about dodged, and interesting rejoin attempts. It's 2 positions for your team gained, because I spotted them just behind.
Yeah, I watched it live. I have the 2 streams up with Matty and then this as well. But yeah, with that one there, it's that first corner, that sausage carb. I've seen it in another race the other night as well. Once you hit the sausage carb, you are kind of a passenger, and that's what happened to Beamer. He tried to take too much of the corner to try and make the move happen, and in turn hit the sausage carb, which ran him wide into the other car. And you just have to be very, very careful of that, because once you hit one of those sausage carbs, you have no real control while the wheels are up in the air. Like you've no control. Funnily enough, you're a passenger then.
Yeah, switch seats, but I don't think these cars have any other seats. I think it is just the driver only.
Out the window. Out the window he goes. But yeah, look, it's one of those things, and I'm surprised people are trying to take liberties with those corners with the sausages on them, because they do nothing but slow you down. You're best off avoiding them like the plague. But look, live and learn, and you know, the both of them will come back stronger into it. I know how good Anderson is, so he'll keep the head up. Oh, as back further, Mr. Belender. Oh no, was it Elon and the Honda then?
It was the Young. I think the Hondas possibly lapping these guys, and just they got a little bit shoved out. I think it was It was a bit rude of the Honda to make sure they were pinned right on the outside. A bit disrespectful, but both cars made it through. So at the end of the day,
A bit elbows out.
no harm really. Yeah.
I don't mind a little bit of elbows out once it's not overly aggressive. And that was on the limit, I think, of being overly aggressive. It was just enough to say, look, get out of my way. Now, we don't know how long he's been behind that car. Has he been impeded? I just see the blue flags there with the Ferrari, but...
Well, it's an interesting one here because you've got the Ferrari that wants to overtake the Mercedes that's a lap down, and then you've got the Honda behind that's trying to overtake the Ferrari as a blue flag car. So you've got already multiple cars on different laps, which is causing a bit of... I think a bit of extra pressure and tension for everyone involved because the Ferrari also doesn't want to give up too much time because he's currently battling with the Sim Racing Holland Aston behind too.
Yeah. Oh, I would be getting very frustrated in that SX though. But there's nothing you can do. It's not like Formula 1, it's GT rules. You don't have to get out of the way. But obviously it's a nice etiquette to do so. But obviously he is in a fight. He's trying to use the lapping car now as a bit of a blocker to the car behind. But he's losing time to the car ahead by doing so. I think he's better off letting the Aston or the Honda through here. But he's not looking like he wants to do it.
He's sticking to his line. He's really not compromising himself at all. But because of that, he's compromised himself in relation to the Aston further. He's held up both of them rather than just braking that little bit earlier and being a bit smoother instead of having to compete with the Honda.
Yeah.
For the corner, which it's one of those that he tried to minimize his loss by being as aggressive as possible, and for the corner, but in fact just compromised them both more.
Yeah, look, it's for me, as I say, if you know you're not racing the car, or if it's on a different strategy, let them buy and get on with it. He lost way too much time there instead of just letting them buy way earlier and just focus on the race. But look, I think everyone races different, and everyone's attitude and mentality is different as well. It's easy, I suppose, saying it when you're in the comments box, and that's why I love being in the comments box. You can judge all day long. You don't have to prove it then on track.
As long as you don't say anything too sort of off or odd, or just something a bit too aggressive that anyone then starts having a go at you for. We try to keep neutral where possible here and just leave the decision making to the stewards, as long as it's not cut and dry.
Yeah, I know. I'm a one for always giving me opinion, but I try never, I suppose, offend anyone, but I would be quite honest with what I see. Every league that I'm involved with knows that now, but in the nicest way possible. Like, in fairness here, it is what it is. I would have let him through, but then again, it's their prerogative. They are trying to fight position and defend as well. I understand why they were trying to keep the car behind. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked for them because they're under pressure now.
That Honda is actually a back marker of the back markers.
It's a lot easier to say that here in the booth, but actually, I thought the Honda was a car up ahead of these guys. It turns out it's actually further back, thanks to Chris. He's just let us know they're down in 40 seconds. So they're actually doing a load of unlapping, which is probably what makes it even more frustrating because the guys ahead are going to be less eager to let you by.
Yeah. So that's why I think there was that kind of like, nah, I'm not getting out of the way. I'm continuing on. Fair enough. But the Honda's obviously making up ground. But look,
it's a long time to go still. We're yet to even hit 45 minutes, and with an hour 15 stint timers, which I think most cars are going to be aiming to get to, is we're looking at a move here for De Jong on Bellin, but he brakes a bit early. Ferrari goes deep. Unfortunately, I think that's just a bit too much respect shown from the Aston. Does get a good run here, but now he's on the incorrect side of the turn. Goes for the squeeze. I'm not sure that's the right play. I think what he needed to do is brake a bit earlier, try and get the Ferrari to compromise the line, and then go for a switchback, get the inside, and then would have had the line for this corner.
He has the drive, I tell you that.
Again, he's got the drive, and he's actually made the move stick, but can he hold it inbounds? He's just a bit offline.
Great driving.
But actually set it up brilliantly, and as you say, perfect driving from De Jong there. Lovely move. took 4 or 5 corners to set up and execute, but what a way to do it.
That was beautiful. See, the Aston using its top end over the Ferrari. The Aston definitely in a straight line is quite a bit faster. But that was a lovely setup and well executed, and there was great space between both drivers, obviously going 2 completely different lines. But I do like the way De Jong went for the wider approach for a faster exit, and it worked out perfectly for him there, so very well done to him. And looking back then in 28th position with, is it Vargas and Bilotti?
We got these two again, yeah. No, this is Anderson and Vargas, so these are the two that came together on the first corner a few laps ago.
Oh,
the BMW
okay.
just taking too much curb. So they've once again closed in with each other. Hopefully, we won't see the same outcome. If we're both involved, it wouldn't be beneficial to either.
No, not ideal at all. But yeah, look, I would assume the BMW should be faster, but then again, it's down to the squishy bit behind the wheel of talent. But
The meat in the seat.
That's well, that sounds a little bit kinky, but but yeah, no, I get exactly what you mean. But yeah, I actually think this is going to be a great battle, and I'd love to see these teams fighting all race long. I do love seeing the progression of that true endurance race, whether it's 6, 10, 12 hours, whatever. It's seeing teams just constantly with each other on track fighting.
Oh, we've got an incident on the final corner. Car 12 and 88 kind of coming together. 88 still not moving.
Just going
Finally
there
getting them moving
now.
now, and 12's actually just gone very slow on the start-finish line. So whether or not they're, I have no idea what's going on, because they were up to speed and then slowed down again. So it's a confusing one. As we actually have a brilliant 3-way battle going on track right now, so maybe I should be paying more attention to that than just looking at the track back.
Well, I'm delighted Matty's after getting up into 19th position now through all of that. Go on, Matthew. But yeah, this battle on track here, Van der Vaart, is it? And then he is under a bit of pressure now from Maffei and Levels.
Yeah, so these were the guys we will... Wait, who was it? So... Oh, it's the...
It's the Lexus from that was fighting earlier on.
Yeah. The Mercedes has disappeared in front, though. Or was that Morgan, who's up now in 12th?
That's
Actually,
Morgan
yeah,
in
no,
12th,
he's up in
yeah.
12th, so he's been going forwards, actually. I thought... Because they were quite close together at one
Well,
point.
they were at 8th and 9th, so... Actually, I think they've lost a bit of position. The last time I was looking up, they were about 8th and 9th on the grid. Racing away.
I have no idea. There's clearly been incidences. I think
You
we can
see
say for
scars
sure
on the car.
Aston knows had a poor exit. Now the Porsche's all over him, going for the inside of the corner. Can't quite see it on your screen because it's happening just behind. Has the Porsche still got overlap? No, unfortunately, with the lack of top end speed, just doesn't get the drive.
It's the Achilles heel of the Porsche, is that top end.
It really is. This is the bit where it's best, but the problem is when you got a car in front of you, you're compromised not just in terms of where you want to put the car, but also in terms of the dirty air. It really does make a difference.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Like the Porsche around the lower to mid-speed corners will outdo the Aston all day long with the agility of that car, just how responsive it is with the steering, and then obviously the mechanical traction. But yeah, the top end, it does, as you see there, it doesn't have an answer. You can get as close as you want. The minute you get out of that corner, then you're a sitting duck. So it's very easy. Okay,
it does seem to have a good bit of straight line speed in the toe, but as soon as you break that, you're losing a lot. They do have a back marker to deal with and ahead, but I think the Lexus is probably going to be okay because of the fact that Levels and Maffei have been battling. It has closed them up, but we do have a replay now to see what happened on that first corner, and it's another SimSport Holland, just a little love tap. So I think I can understand now why they were going slow on the straights.
Yeah.
They feel bad because they put a car in a horrible spot facing the wrong way on the final corner with other cars coming. So I think it's one of them that they're going to try and redress the position where possible. And yeah, as you say, there's you going through. There's another
that
couple
Ferrari got me a
wait,
scare.
where's the Ferrari going?
Oh, that Ferrari gave me a scare.
That's your Italian mate that you can't pronounce, isn't it?
Giovanni.
I think car 12 does wait a long while for this. You see just in the top screen, top of the screen.
The car's still waiting. Is the
Do you know what? I appreciate that.
Aston.
I appreciate
So
that.
yeah, they seriously do wait for the. There he comes. Here comes the Audi. So very, very good respect shown from the
Yeah.
Supersport Holland car there.
That's what I love to see. Hopefully the stewards put that into consideration as well, because he's after impeding himself for at least 30 seconds or more.
I think that was a little wave from the Audi ahead as well, just saying thank you.
Yeah.
So,
That's brilliant.
Great respect shown as we get back on, and there's a yellow flag for car 93 on the track now.
And just
the
so
boss
you know,
having another incident.
just to give you an update as well, the car 990 has 10 seconds worth of penalties added on. I've seen 2 5 seconds popping up, just so you're aware. And he's in third position.
Wait. My teammate's got 10 seconds of. What's he done? Matt!
Yeah, so
Matt,
2
what
5
have you
seconds. I know you needed to know, but it didn't show up on the stream there, so I had to tell you just so at least you knew. So,
Yeah. What's that going to be in regards to then? I wonder. Because I didn't.
Car 990 causing collision with car 416.
Car 990 causing collision with 416. Wait, so the car's been penalised for the Porsche. I didn't think there was contact. Well, not in the initial stage. I'm quite surprised at that, because the Porsche lost it on his own. I didn't. That's rather unfortunate. I'm not sure I agree with that one personally, but we didn't get a great view of it. We only saw it front on, so I'll have past judgment. Maybe I'm a bit biased because it's my team as well. So.
am I allowed to give my opinion?
Go on then. Yeah, Lulu's just jumped in chat saying that they're appealing it. So
I would appeal that because the car had already lost control, and unfortunately, the Aston was impeded. From the camera view we had, so not saying the stewards are wrong, but from the view we had, it just looked like the Porsche dropped it, and then your teammate was just unfortunate to hit it.
If there's a view that shows that there was contact prior, then I fully understand it. But if the Porsche just lost it on its own, I don't see why the car behind should be penalised for not having anywhere to go.
And look,
especially if. Well, because Lulu jumped into DMs with me, said that we did brake and to try and avoid the collision. So, you know, there's not much more you can do really when you're that close. I don't know. It's one of them. I need to see it again. Really. I need to actually fully see it.
It's a different camera view is what you need for that one there. But look,
yeah.
It is what it is. Can you remember what lap it is? I'll try and get the replay up. I'm mad to see that now myself.
Doing it now.
Oh, deadly.
Chris is gonna find
deadly.
Place, so,
because
we'll get an idea.
Even though it has nothing to do with me, it's your team. I want to see, because I've often looked at an incident from the broadcast camera and thought, oh, it should have been another one. But then when you look at it from the other side of the story, we might see something that we missed. But from that original view, I 100% agree that it was. I think it was just a racing incident, because it actually impeded the Aston instead of helping it. Because he actually lost the position to the Honda on the exit of that corner as well. That's
one thing we'd see. And, well, I might not be impartial, but at least I'm not going to be kicked off like I think it's been on BBC. I don't know, Chris might throw me out of the Discord chat.
Trust me.
Replay coming up with why the penalty's been administered.
Alright, so is the penalty. So,
Porsche lost it on its own.
I guess maybe they're saying the Aston still tried to take the racing line, but I don't know why that's 10 seconds.
I don't think that's a penalty at all, because he lost it on his own and at racing speed.
If you turn left there, you end up going way off the track as well as the car behind.
But mind the Aston, as you're seeing on there, then lost the position to the Honda. For me, it's one I don't agree with, but at the same time, I'm not a steward, and the guys have it tough to be doing live students. That's one thing I will say as well. They mightn't always get it exactly as we agree with, but at the end of the day, it's so hard to get a live student to be accurate all the time, so they can only go off what they had at the time, and maybe as levels gets through.
That was a back marker, but where are they going?
Up to the corkscrew.
Sideways. Yeah, they're still going slow, so is that the 20? Or is there a number in front? It's hard to tell because the 36 has just gone past. I think that's the 220. Bit wide, 720, sorry, yeah, a bit wide, and just the usual there. You end up on the sand, one wheel then starts spinning faster than the rest, and a bit of a loop for Russo here, Davide.
Still great to see
Did see on the
43
front.
cars, guys. Sorry.
Yeah. I think I think technically we've lost one, but one of them didn't do qualifying, so I don't know if there was an issue there. But yeah, it's great to see so many cars going, and we've got a few down the bottom here, a bit down in laps, but whether or not they you know, there's still 5 hours to go, 5 hours and 5 minutes, plenty of time to still have other cars ahead have issues, or you just start pumping out the laps and try and regain as much as possible. Because as I was saying last year, I mentioned this earlier with my team, we were involved in an incident on the first lap, dropped a lap down afterwards, attempted to keep driving, but the damage was too much, so couldn't take any of the fast corners through Silverstone, which is quite important. So yeah, had to pit, ended up a lap down. I think we fought back to 17th or 18th or so from dead last in like 38th. So, you know, there is a lot you can still do regarding just giving it a go.
Yeah.
There is so much that you can still get out of it.
100%.
And you learn more from your mistakes than you do having a perfect race.
Yeah. No, I think the guys, they're doing as good as they can do. I think the mistakes in an endurance is better for the drivers. I know it sounds silly, even for the guys leading. It is nice, as you say, to make the mistakes and learn from it.
Just missed it, but Lenson's gone to second.
We've had, yeah, we missed an overtake here, but
Oh, wow.
Ben's dropped to third, and Dan Lenson up to second place. Did have a little bit of did go a little bit deep to.
Are we calling this the Mazda
there,
Honda?
which just brought the Ferrari back, but so far so good. And yeah, the Honda now into second. Whether the gap to Richardson, which is still hanging around 4 seconds, so I don't know if the Porsche in front just biding their time and just saving tyres and stuff. That's going to be a gap now to watch, I think, as long as there's no issues in the first round of pit stops, which should be coming your way in about, I'd say in the next 10 minutes or so, we'll see the first few cars coming in.
Yeah, absolutely. To be honest with you, I think the Porsche is definitely doing a bit of tyre and possibly fuel saving, because, you know, they're not under any major pressure unless they're hitting back markers is the only thing.
So here's the move. So we've got a back marker involved, compromise the Ferrari a little.
What a move.
Ferrari gives the squeeze, but yeah, just the Honda once again taking advantage of the cars ahead, just being compromised ever so slightly. So they got through the 990 Snack and Sons Aston Martin in similar manners, and the same part of the track they go and get the Ferrari too. So now it's just about how Dan Lenson is able to close this gap onto Richardson, who currently our leader.
That VTEC kicked in.
Because he ran away at the start, and that's been it so far.
Yeah, 100%. But look, to be fair about it, you wouldn't mind having one of those kind of, as we would call them, boring races when you're out in front. You'd prefer that all day long than having to fight your nuts off. I'd say he's just managing tyres, and as you see there, he's coming across traffic as well now. So that's obviously dropping him quite into the hands of Lenson, who is gaining quite a chunk of time each lap. Like, he's not too far off.
I think the Ferrari's had another issue as well, because that's dropped by 2 seconds and fallen right into the path of Matt Tubby, and it looks like the 10-second penalty's been removed.
Great.
I'd wait for confirmation on that, but it's just gone from the standings in the top left, so that's great to see.
It's for you.
Yeah, great to see for me, and great to see for anyone who is involved with the 990 Snackinson's team. Not great if you are Ben McConnell, Fitzpatrick, Mackenberg, or anyone else around the leaders right now.
I think they've done the right thing for that one. As much as I want to say, give them a drive-through or stop-go Tory.
Wow, I'll remember this. What number's your team again?
I'm just going to jinx someone else. 89.
Always. Richardson's having a pretty awful time here currently trying to get through back markers. Had to sneak past the 7-up Aston Martin, and then has had a few lines compromised with this Mercedes here.
Really,
so that
and
gap
truly.
length, although it had just regrown to 3.9, now down to 2.6, a second and a half lost just getting through those 2 back markers.
And can we also just welcome in Sam Pierce is in the comms booth as well. How are you doing, Sam?
I'm doing not too bad. How is everyone doing?
Enjoying this race so far, and I suppose celebrating 990 getting their 10-second penalty removed. Us investigators here, thanks to Chris Hill, have figured out the 10-second penalty shenanigans.
Yeah, I've been watching for sort of the past 20-30 minutes or so, and yeah, kind of an interesting incident, and as you said, I would not have wanted to be a live steward trying to judge that on the fly. So yeah.
Yeah, it's tough doing the live stewarding because like you get it right most of the time, but the joys about live stewarding is they can also remove that penalty. So even if they've seen they've made an error, they can also then fix that as well. So fair play to them. But yeah, look, it was a tough one for them to judge from the camera angle that was on the broadcast. Anyway, yeah, it was way hard. It was too hard to know what happened. But yeah, good for them, and it's good for the racing as well because it means that fight then for third and fourth is genuine on track again. And that third doesn't have that kind of comfortable feeling of knowing there's a 10-second penalty there.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely.
But of course, I'm wishing that we get ahead of you, but I don't think it's going to happen realistically.
I haven't actually. We haven't looked at the sister team at all. They're currently sat very nicely in 14th. Dan Higgins doing a brilliant job. Has got the Porsche, I think, right on his tail right now. But yeah, here comes Buzz Lightyear. Oh, the front's not looking too pretty though. That's yeah, I'm not. Something must have gone on there, but they're carrying a bit of damage. So I think so far 14th is quite good, but whether or not they decide to pit a little bit earlier to just try and repair that damage is another question. Because as we mentioned earlier, I think realistically, at least for the Aston, other cars will be slightly different depending on what the maximum fuel is allowed per car. But it's about 3.8 full stints. So whether or not they elect to go just a bit earlier and then just do the final stint is something that they may be looking into, especially with the front bonnet not looking too pretty. It's just a bit of extra strategy to go, but this is one that they'll need to look at and figure out. And I think for anyone else in a similar position, because there has been a few incidences, so people will be carrying damage, whether or not they elect to just pit that bit earlier, extend that final stint that little bit more, and see where they go from there.
100%. Well, look, guys, I am going to love you and leave you for a while. I'll try and join back in later on. I'm going to have to jump in my team now and give them a little bit of a pep talk and give them a bit of a push up now as Chris said is in the car.
Praised. They've been doing well.
No, I'll always treat them bad, treat them mean to make them do better, It's a secret. But come here, guys, enjoy the rest of the race. I'm actually going to stay in here to watch the broadcast as well, but I'm just going to go on mute, guys, okay?
Thanks, Dom.
Right.
Excellent, thanks very much, guys. Talk to you in a
best
bit.
of luck, mate. Something we actually missed during this time as well is Matt now up to P3. The Ferrari seems to have dropped a lot of pace in a short amount of time. Whether or not they've got their pit strategy wrong and have been a bit more of a fuel guzzler than they expected is something else. But they've suddenly started falling quite massively. Yeah, now down into 5th. The Honda Fitzpatrick's just shot right past them. They're 2.5 seconds down again. So I'm not sure if they're just actually realized if we want to avoid an extra stop, we need to fuel save like crazy. But we'll see. It's one of them.
Possibly picked up a little bit of damage, or tires potentially have dropped off a cliff. They have been on these tires for well over an hour now. McConnell has been battling a lot. He's been in traffic, been in all kinds of dirty air, so it's quite possible that his tires have just fallen off, and he's just trying to keep it on the straight and narrow until he does come into the pits, which I would assume is going to be fairly soon.
Yeah, well, we just saw his lap deltas compared to his best, and he was 4 seconds down off his best lap with a 1:27. So it's a bit of a loss on the last lap, as you say. Whether or not that's because he's had a moment or two with a back marker is another question. But that gap, it's stabilised a little now with fourth. I think it's still around the 2.5 second mark. So it might well have just been a few back markers getting in the way and a bit of an issue here or there for the car. We'll get a good sense now as soon as they cross the start finish line just what this last lap's been. But the tyres may well have dropped off the Ferrari. I know for a fact it was one car we were considering as he's back into the 23.3, so just a few poor laps for the Ferrari, and they had some incidences.
Yeah, so
thankfully everything's back on track for them. That's an interesting line. That's a very damaged Audi as well right ahead there. What's going on here?
Never touched it.
Yeah, so I mean, I've only just learned this track in the past couple of
Right. Jump in here now. Are the guys in a chat? How are you doing, lads? Great stint by you, Matty, and well done, Chris. Keep it up.
Yeah, we're getting there, mate. Just bring the tyres in.
Oh no, absolutely. Look, take your time. You definitely have a lot of pace to be at least in the midfield by the end of the race, the way things are going. Matty, you were very unlucky with the incident, but a great recovery drive.
The corkscrews a touch. That was me just being stupid, but some of them boys is, I don't know.
That Ferrari scared the shit out of me when that dive bomb. I was like, oh.
He was chaotic as anything. Him.
But no, good stint all in all. Some great racing up front as well, lads.
Yeah, the start was something, wasn't it?
Yeah. To be fair about it, you were very lucky with what happened. Especially, oh my god, turn 3.
I seen that and I was like, oh, just dive down the inside, hope I can get away with it.
Yeah, you avoided one or two nice incidents. The one in the corkscrew as well. I don't know how you avoided them. The Ferrari it was.
The Ferrari just hit me going into that turn 5, didn't he? What a twat. For 3 way, he just moves over. I don't know, maybe that was something to do with me, but it wasn't, was it?
It was tough.
I battled my way back through. I was pretty happy with how I came back through, but then balls up for himself.
No, you're doing fucking well, man. What I'm gonna do?
My right side's not getting into temperature.
Oh no! If it keeps heating up, you'll be all right.
27.4 and 27.3, mate, on my right. When lefts are fine.
What setup did we use in the end?
Gary's. It's better on tyres, mate. It'll hold the tyres for the hour.
Okay. Now you can do an hour and 15 if you want.
Well, I don't know how much fuel I've got in it. I put 110 litres in.
Matt, can you set up the next fuel run through the app, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, fill me up completely, because if I have okayish pace, just to extend this a bit.
It's not Glennon next, no?
Yeah, see,
I
wouldn't bother about overextending it, though, remember, because everyone's got to get in it.
I suppose,
So we don't actually save anything. All we're doing is being slower over that stint.
Tires are going to die if you fill it up too. They're not great. They're not great.
Grand. Yeah, Chris Wall's in after me, isn't he?
Yeah.
So for the next race as well, guys, we can consider then if there's a driver that can't make it, obviously we can work out this strategy and stuff a bit better, because if there's a track I know I'm really bad at, I'm happy to sit out and be an engineer now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like people aren't signing up their full team, are they? They're just signing up a few.
Yeah.
And then,
Well, I was just like, everyone...
what am I getting wrong with someone? 2 seconds here, boys.
Oh. Ferrari's gone.
Yeah, you're grand. Hopefully you get him. The tyres might be still over warm. Well, is that a back marker?
No, we've pitted though. Well, I think some of these haven't, so I think we're catching people up,
Ah, okay.
which is not good because we're on fresh tyres and we're actually going to be quicker than a lot of these now. Right, tyres are in temps.
Right. Sorry. That white Ferrari behind us was an absolute mess, wasn't he?
I was touch and go, alright. Touch and go, but Matty, honestly, you're doing a supreme job. Honestly, very well done to you. You were,
I said to him, mate, he has the hardest stint
Yeah.
up there.
and especially that literally a bomb went off just kind of where you were on track, and you avoided every bit of it. Well done.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
It was just a chain reaction, you know yourself, on an open lap. Once one car goes and it's on the track, it's people avoiding and then crashing. 15-second penalty for car 56.
I'd say we might have a penalty coming our way, boys. How many do we think? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Car?
I overtook 9 cars in one corner in turn 3.
Fuck me.
Pretty dirty.
And why do you think
I
we have a
might-
penalty though?
Corkscrew. The white the corkscrew. I don't know if you've seen it. What lap was it? I couldn't even tell you what lap. 19, I think it was.
I'm gonna go into a race replay now live and have a look at that. Lap 19, was it?
Yeah, corkscrew.
Oh, of course, it's not letting me go back to lap 19.
Right there. I'll show you. Let me get on Discord on my computer here. Set my phone. 2 seconds.
No bother, horse. I'll put it onto the screen so I can watch it and the people can at home, because I have this all on the live stream.
Right. Sourcebox still here, is it?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, sorry. Right.
Just opening up here. No, not full screen. I didn't mean full screen. Jesus Christ. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to resize this thing. After pressing the wrong thing anyway. Are you not sharing the screen?
I am, yeah.
Why am I not seeing that? Oh, there we go.
Right there. Oh, crap, 2 seconds.
Go stream. Why isn't that?
You're not able to hear.
Right, bear with me now. What's
They're in my way.
Right. Just gonna resize all this shite. Right, go for Matty.
Oh, behind Blake.
Oh, Blake Morgan, yeah, and Sky. Right, so you're going grand.
Oh, it's not this lap. Wait there. Next lap.
I was about to say, I was like, well, doesn't look like.
See how close I am to him this lap.
Yeah.
And then I gain on him, he gets a worse exit than myself. So I'm like, thinking I've got a chance here. It was very... I just started sliding over the... So I reckon we might have a penalty coming our way, but... Yeah.
It was half a dozen of one, half a dozen of another. It's not the ideal place, but there was room there.
No, it was just a start sliding.
Can you just pause it there and get like a front view on that?
Blake got damaged because he's really holding me up.
No clue, man.
Because the car in front of him is now pulling away.
No, he's probably on old tyres though. Blake was involved, I think, with an incident at the start of the, or kind of mid race. Him and Alexis, I'm pretty sure, got a bit too close for him, so I think he might have a bit of front end damage in that Evo.
He's pitting, I think. Or is he-
Nice.
Okay. Not massively held up, just a little bit. 2 seconds I lost that lap. Gets up behind him.
Look, at least it's not another few laps of it.
No. But being who it is as well, the only times you know these people, you don't want to wreck their race either, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Mike, could you mind just going back one more time? Sorry, I did miss a bit of that when I was looking at the mainstream. Sorry. Right.
Tyres are well out, mate.
I think that bump, see that tiny little bump that you knocked the front of your car up that you couldn't turn. Just for that millisecond, that was enough to let the front one wide.
He gave us like, I know it wasn't really long time, but it was like there was not an inch given.
So see that little bump coming up.
Yeah, I know what it is. But like, look how much room. I don't know. You didn't really have to give me room. Yeah.
No, there wasn't enough room, but at the same time, yeah, well, he didn't leave the cars with really. So I honestly, if it was me, regardless of it being our team, I would be more leaning towards a racing incident there, because you had the right to go for the move, the door was open, then it was completely slammed. At the same time, he has the argument, oh, it's not a place for overtaking at that particular time, which is fair as well. So it's one or the other, really. I'm sure, look, the stewards are fairly on point. Oh, this scared the shit out of me. Just no brakes whatsoever.
I ain't gonna get up to pace with these tyres.
Just focus, Chris, and do what you just do a Chris Tedder. You know how you can get up through the field. Just focus on your race, mate. I know the tyres aren't working ideal for you. Maybe that might be something we need to alter for the next driver going out with pressures.
Yeah, well, we're trying to adjust that. I think the temperature was going to rise, but I think instead of coming out and being like 27.5 to race 27.8, they're coming in like at one point 27.1.
Okay.
Tell you what, mate, just pick a time and stick to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah, there's no need to be worrying, man.
Oh, yeah, you're not.
27.3 is, I think, where they're at as a whole. Like 27.2 on the back right now.
Yeah.
Like, I can't lean on them.
Just do what you can. Whoa.
That's what I mean. I can't lean on it. We are catching the cars in front though.
Again, you're on what's the word? We're up like 11 positions from where we started anyway. Do you know what I mean? We're up a good lock, so.
I'm very proud of these lads. I'll enjoy watching back the stream later on for all your stints properly when I'm not actually talking and being able to just sit there and enjoy it.
Well, it's a good batch of drivers in front, which is for position.
Yeah. Just don't forget, a lot of these still have to pit as well.
Hope for the next race they don't make it a full formation lap, because full formation lap, it's like, it's grand, but at the same time, the amount of catch up they have to do at the end of the laps.
If anything,
43 cars.
It makes your tyres go cold as well. It's more likely to cause an accident.
Stop go for 333.
That's Chris Vickers.
No, yeah.
It is.
Stop go is speeding the pits, lads.
Oh wow.
No, it's not Chris Vickers.
It was, yeah. Chris Vickers 333.
That's his team. That's his team.
No, Chris. Oh, right. It's been cleared. It's number 42. Stop go today. I've got Chris Vickers behind me, mate, by 2 seconds. He hasn't got a stop go.
I think he only served it though.
Oh, unless he served it, yeah. I'd say he hasn't got one now. Tires.
Few seconds here, boys.
Yeah, no, but just keep what you're doing. Like, I know the tires are the issue, but you can drive around that and just stick to, as Matty was saying, stick to a time and you'll be absolutely fine.
I want to stick to a mid 23 or a high 23, not a high, mid 24. Right there, I can't put my foot down.
Yeah.
Loses so much time. Look, grip up.
Would it help you using a lower gear just to kind of pull the front in and then throw it back into the...
No, because I'm losing too much time, but I lower
Okay.
the reps down too much.
You're definitely catching these to Iceland, yeah?
Yeah, but Chris is catching me behind. Don't hit me. Get your foot on the brake.
Oh, Chris Vickers could be in trouble.
Yeah, has he knocked him? Is he?
Yeah, he has hit Chris.
Get the feeling that guy didn't put his foot in his brake. There's no way he should have gone flying across the track like that.
No, he stopped in the middle of the track and Chris had nowhere to go.
Well, as much as I feel sorry for Chris, and I do, I don't feel too sorry because it's giving me a bit of breathing room.
Yeah, so you can just focus ahead of you, not behind you, exactly.
Yep.
I think halfway through Glenn's stint, I'm going to have to jump into a practice server and get my eye in because I haven't touched the game at all.
No. Flick then.
You're definitely faster than this Audi at the minute.
Yep.
That's someone at my pace probably driving that car to pour on. Oh, much nicer through there.
Right, pulls away now though.
Yeah. It's such a fast car in a straight line, the Audi.
No, it's not. It's the initial squirt, mate. That's where it's quick. That's the Audi. It's the second. Well, up there with the Porsche, the two quickest cars on the acceleration.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. Nothing else can compete with them. I did a Hungarian the other day. I qualified third, and I went from third to first by the time I got to the first corner.
Beat the
that.
fuck.
It's that quick. There we go. That did the job.
Nice, nice.
Just wanted to scare him a little bit.
Good man.
Some people might say that's out of order. I'll say that's racing.
Well, you were half thinking, is there a move, and then you get out of it, but then he obviously assumed you were going to go for it.
No, mate, I was never going for it.
I know that.
Yeah, I was never going for it. There wasn't a move, but I wanted to think that I was going for it, though, which is what he did.
Yeah.
Right.
So that could be a back marker ahead, or possibly...
Yeah, 2 back markers next. So this is Magnussen.
Oh, okay.
And in front of him is Locke.
Jeez, Locke's not having a good race, is he?
No, he's down in 37th, mate.
Wonder what happened to him. I think he was involved in that one, the first lap shenanigans.
Missed it. Right, 12 seconds to the next car for position.
Nice. He has to get out of the way, surely.
Lad.
Outside of, for the most part, the back markers have been phenomenal so far.
Have they?
Oh yeah. It's an enjoyable race to be commentating on with the amount of cars.
Yeah, it's good. You know, it's a big field with a lot going on.
That's the one thing the guys do well is these endurance events. They really do get a good few people in. But I have to say, Chris Hill's some of the stuff he uses in the broadcast is top notch as well. The graphics and that.
Yeah, well, I like the way he's got the two sort of steam counts as such.
Yeah. Being able to run two different views and stuff.
Yeah. I need to be so careful for it because I need to lean on my right hand side tyres.
Yeah.
I can't. 27.2 as I approach that then.
Jesus.
Yeah, well, I want to lean on them, I can't.
You just gonna have to wait for it to build up.
They're not building up, that's the pressures.
Fuck.
Yeah, they up and down a little bit as you go through certain braking areas, but as a whole, I say 27.3 is about it.
Hmm.
The problem got it's making me not want to lean on them too much. Lock directly in front.
Nice. I was only messing with him before the race and I take him out into the wall. I feel bad for him because the guys are a lot faster than what's shown there at the minute.
Oh yeah, they got good side, good team.
Still a long race to go though.
Oh yeah.
How are you enjoying the Aston though, other than the tyre pressure obviously being a bit off?
It's a completely different driving style, mate. I like it, but I'm learning from fresh.
Yeah.
Brakes are different. The line I have to take into the corner is actually different as well.
Even the gearing compared to the Honda is different.
Yeah, but the gearing, you get used to it, do you know what I mean? That's the easiest thing
Yeah.
to get used to. But just the way I approach the corner, it's just so much different.
Well, it's much more predictable though, isn't it, mid-corner?
It is, but I find you have to be, because it's so slow on entrance, if you miss the corner, there's no bringing it back in.
Yeah. Yeah, with the Honda you can use a bit of oversteer to kind of pull away a bit.
Yeah, you can rag it in a little bit.
Hmm.
Yeah, I find I need to approach certain corners maybe a foot or so wider than what I'm used to.
Okay.
So my driving line, it's actually having to adjust in it.
Yeah.
It's been, if I was in the Honda now, I could do this pace by taking it easy and conserving tyres.
Yeah.
at the moment, this is everything I've got because of the tyres. As in, like, I can't physically go any quicker.
The Porsche's OG around here, though.
Oh, massively, mate.
Unbelievable car around this track. Although provisionally there's a Honda in second place. They made the move when I was still on comms and just still there. Which I'm shocked at.
I've run an hour race around here in the Honda.
I think over the full race though, because there's a Ferrari right behind, which I'm very shocked at, but apparently the Ferrari is quite an adaptable car.
Yeah. It just doesn't like curves, mate, but here you can drive around that.
Yeah. No car here likes the curves because it's literally from flat to a big sausage, so it'll send you off.
Yep.
Just the layout of this suits the Porsche all day long.
This is a Porsche track, mate.
The
Honda's track quick around it, though.
It definitely is. And there's a lad in 5th place in the Lexus.
I've done a 21.8 in here right, with Honda.
Where's the Nissan gone? There was a guy running in the Nissan.
Oh, well, Lexus is as well, weren't there?
Yeah. Interesting to see. I did say in the stream if we finish the race in the top 20 and even in the later teens, I'd be delighted. Because everyone's learning the car.
Yeah.
I think Glenn's the only one that's actually drove this car properly.
It's a better time, at least.
Definitely you're getting there, mate.
Grip up. Grip, 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 grip. Ooh,
So what happens?
nice.
Yeah, it was nice. It's when you're following another car and you see them going off, you end up nearly following the line. It's so hard, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I should have gripped up there normally. I was just trying to see if I can get to grip, and it wouldn't.
Kerry has the tough job of doing the last stint as well tonight, doesn't he?
Well, you could say that, or you could say the fact that the field should be the most split up then, so you can just get his head down.
Yeah, true. Are you going to run the Aston for this season then coming into league racing?
Yeah.
Locke's not even gonna. That's fair play, man.
Yeah. I mean, as is on. Say thanks.
Fair play. Play up on 16th now.
Yeah, we are catching that batch up, I think, just not quick enough.
Come here, it's a long race. It's the Santos racing with them as well, isn't it?
Yep, he's in that.
That's going to be a fast stint with him and Sky. Sky's quite quick in that.
Yeah, Sky's quick in that.
Much better that time there, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's just not there, mate. Like here. Just...
I think when you're as patient as you have been on the throttle there, it's fine.
Yeah, but I'm losing time because of it. That's my point.
Yeah.
Well, I expect Chris to catch me up at some point. If he does, I ain't going to fight him.
Yeah.
Because it's pointless losing time fighting someone.
100% I agree. Just let him by. Because in fairness, me, Glenn, and Chris Wall, I don't think I'll be able to fight with him or Mike. They're just like they are faster than us.
Yeah.
So it'd be silly losing time just to fight them.
Fortunately, he's not that much quicker than me in the condition of his car. So what's annoying, I think if I had got my tyres right, I would have been alright.
Yeah, although this is Chris's car, he's done so well in it of late.
Yeah, but I still stand by. If my tyre pressure was right, he wouldn't be catching me. I've done race runs,
Okay,
and I was in mid-23s every lap.
fair. So it's actually affected by second to lap and not having that front end.
Yeah, because I don't know the car well enough to drive around it. Yeah.
That's fair. I'll be aiming for the 124s anyway.
Yeah.
Hopefully Glenn will be getting on soon as well to get ready.
Yeah. See you next on.
Yeah. Let me see, is he on? Well, he's on. He's must be doing practice.
Well, yeah. Right there, I should be able to flat out. I've had the lift. Nah, that should grip up in, and it won't. The guy in front of us now down to 7.5, was it? For precision.
Yeah.
That's down from about 15, whatever it was. 12, something like that.
So it's nice there's a few back markers mixed in with this, which is going to help.
If we get past them.
Yeah, so the next car from you is a back marker.
Hey.
It's the car that's in 40th position. Then 33rd up ahead of that. So yeah, it's back marker territory now.
Last full position, the guy's just gone off there in front.
Brilliant, 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 brilliant. And the good news is the back marker ahead will hopefully bring him back into you a bit.
Yep. Oh, Riga. There's your Nissan anyway.
Yeah, in fairness, they're still doing decent to be able to be in 19th position. It's such a slow car compared to the newer ones.
Yeah. Alright.
Well done, Chris, well done. Keep it up.
Alright. Just gone down the gear then to get the undercut on him. Room's not there, mate. He hasn't held Chris up long enough.
No, that's exactly why I was staring at. Just focus on what you're doing, you know exactly what to do, mate.
Yeah.
You're pulling in nicely on this car in 18 positions. Keep it up.
Yeah. Only 3.6, mate.
That's what we love to see.
I think the track temperature's gone up by 1. Must have.
You're starting to get a bit temp back, are you?
Only just. But yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, my front right actually at 27.4.
Brilliant. It's alright. How you doing, Glenn?
Right, no.
Yeah, not too bad.
How you doing, bud?
How's the stints been?
Good, mate.
So Matty done great off the start, up 9 positions. Then did have a bit of an instant drop back down, but pulled up, and then Tethers was picking his way through here in 19th and not too far off 18th there.
It's all down here for the next 2 stints, ain't it? See if,
3 as well, Chris Wall.
2 champions, I'll let you know. Have faith in him.
As I said, even in the stream, I fight in everyone but me. I'm not a proper racer, like. Although if this was fucking Kyalami, I'd be quite confident.
yeah, so do I.
For me, all my aim is not to bin it.
I'm just impressed I managed to keep Chris within him, whoever he is.
Yeah, well, it is indeed. Blake Morgan's only 3 positions up on us as well. That'll be Skyder and Nick DeSantis.
Did you get... Oh, it's not down.
I don't have a clue. The Honda's leading the race now as well. Holy shit. Fastest lap is with Engelhart at 1:22.5. Oh, it's a shame that car coming out of the pits doesn't get out a bit quicker to get ahead of Vickers.
Am I okay to join the server?
Yeah, you would be now, yeah.
What's the password?
SimSport1, I think it is. All lowercase. Lovely. Yeah, you can definitely see our front end is getting a bit more where you need it to be. Better late than ever.
I'm actually pulling away from Chris now, though.
Nice.
Look, flat out now, look.
Yeah. Just looking ahead, that's good for us. There's a back marker going to get in the way here. Or maybe not.
Low lap that. It's still quicker than the car in front.
Yeah.
I still stand by these setups from Gary. They do preserve the tyres.
I have to say though, I was very comfortable with the Go setups as well.
They know they're good. They're quicker, but they burn through the tyres quicker.
Oh, who's that off?
That mark, I think.
Yep. Car in 38 position.
Wait, what? How do I rotate through the cars? It's put me on second place.
Is it shift and arrow?
Shift. there we go.
And Chris has burnt his tyres out, you know, he's dropping.
Yeah. Well, he did have a bit of an incident, didn't he, as well? Earlier on in the stint, if I remember right. Remember that other car flew across track, so he might be nursing a bit of damage as well, which would be positive for us to come to pit stop.
And are you in ACC drive, mate?
I am.
Okay, so you can make the adjustments, yeah?
I can try.
Right, so you want me to come out, well, you want you to come out with 110 litres in. So you want to work out what I've got 34 in now. So what's that? 75, you want to add? Say add 80.
I'd add about 82 just to give you a slight bit extra.
No, he doesn't need
Nice.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, what you... What's he playing at? Glenn, are you ready now, mate?
I can be, yeah. Do I need to adjust the tyres or anything?
I'm doing it now.
Okay.
That's not on me, that is it?
But honestly, I don't know what happened there. That just was out of nowhere. I'm going to go into the replay of that and have a quick look over that while you are doing what you need to do, lads.
Going all out for you now, Glenn. That's really annoyed me, that.
Just focus on what you need to do, guys. I'm going to watch this back properly and have a proper look over it now.
Oh, Joe, no, I've not put Glenn in the car. I've done it myself, haven't I?
You double stinted now?
No, I'm going to come back in and put Glenn in. I can't afford to double stint, mate.
Okay.
Unless I go out and do... No, I'm not. That's really...
It is what it is. We just got to move forward and get over it. We'll get on with it.
He's gone off, and as much as I give him room, he's got to be aware that there's a faster car passing.
But looking at it back, Chris, if I'm honest, and you'll see it yourself on the thingy, it's a half a dozen of one or another. There was loads of room where you were as well, re-entering the track, so it was just one of these things just came together.
But my point being is, as much as I give him room, he's got to be aware that he's made the mistake.
Yeah, no,
Like,
look,
I just clipped the back end of my car. Do you know what I mean?
but he did. So this is the thing. When you rejoined, it looked like you went across on him though as well. So honestly, I'm looking at it from the camera view.
Which, yeah, but you have to take that angle because of the braking marker.
But I'm looking at it from the helicopter view. So he's sideways. You run wide, yeah, which is fine. But he is already straightened up when you're coming back onto the track. So he's going in a straight line. He's not making any movements. It's actually the angle of attack you coming back onto the track is what caused it.
Oh, that's going to give you a drive-through. Oh, disqualified in speed. What? Why is it not applied to pit limiter, lads?
Because it's not automatic pit limiter though, isn't it?
Yeah, but I had it on going in. So why is it taking off?
I don't know. Clip it anyway and we can send it to the stewards.
Mate, I can't do anything. We're disqualified.
Alright, I'll see. Can I get a replay of that?
Can you message admin, see if they can...
So I'm going to try and just get on with you as you're going into the pits.
No. I had pit limiter on going in.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get on, just to give him a clip to show that you have it on.
But it clearly takes it off for when you leave, which I didn't aware about because I've never had manual on before. So I've just put my foot down to go, and it's obviously turned it off.
Because like when I've been on the practice server doing pit stops, it's kept it on.
Yeah.
Alright, so into pits there, pit limiter's on. But why did you get kicked out?
Because the pit limiter was turned off when I went to go, so it does it for speeding in the pits.
Oh my god, yeah, there was no pit limiter at all.
No, but I haven't turned it off. That's what I'm confused about.
Right, it's the pit limiter. That's what I'm going to look at here. So it's when you restart the car, though, does it automatically turn it off?
No, I've never had manual pit limiter. I've never done a manual one before. I presumed if you put it on going in, it stays on until you turn it off.
Yeah, well, look, I'm just going to look to see when the engine starts.
I don't know if you turn the ignition on, it cancels it.
Still on anyway.
I'll return to garage, lads. See if it...
Are you changing to second at all, Chris?
No, I don't think so.
I'm just looking at here just to make sure before I go to them. Yeah, you went into second gear.
Did I? When?
It flipped into second gear and back into first. On the
Is that
exit.
what happened?
Yeah.
Oh, so if I knock second?
It must have been that you knocked second and then back into first. So it's our fault. It's our fault, so it's not the game's fault. There's nothing we can do on that, guys.
No, I didn't realise that.
Well, unlucky. We'll learn for the next day, for the next race.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right, yeah. Do you know what that is? Yeah, because I didn't even get up to 50 miles an hour, did I, when I did that?
No, you were literally only leaving the pit box. And
Yeah.
then it flipped into second gear.
So I tell you what that is. I've gone to stick it in first, and it was already in first gear. So I've knocked it back into first, but not knowing it's taken it out of pit limiter then.
Well, no, it looked like it went up into second gear and then back down to first. Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say to you, from my thing, it was a glancing thing, wasn't it? So I think what happened when I dropped, I've gone to put it into gear, but I was already in gear. Oh,
That is what it is, lads.
can't they undisqualify us?
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Well, you can undisqualify.
Yeah, I'll message the guys, see if they do. Endurance. So where's that live student?
Mate, he's hit me from behind.
No, if you look at that from the camera view, Chris, you cut across him. Honestly, I watched it a million times. He was driving straight. He was not making any irrational moves. That genuine he was to rejoin. It is what it is. Like, that's the look. It is what it is. You were coming back onto the track. It was the angle of attack, but the guy did not do any silly moves. He stayed in a straight line. That was not on
I
him.
realised why the reason I'm off track is to avoid him.
Yeah, but he didn't. There was a mile of room to his right hand side where you were rejoining. He was in a straight line on the left hand side, still going slow enough. It was honestly, he didn't do a thing wrong. That was just the rejoin, unfortunately. But it is what it is, boys. It's fine. But look, we'll come back strong on the next one. That's all we can do with this. I'm just gonna put in a message saying that I've got the SQ for jumped gear. Grand. If they do come back and we are able to rejoin, we'll still rejoin, guys, and continue on. Absolutely not a bother.
Is it worth hanging around for a little bit to see if they can put us back in?
Yeah, I said, look, we wait a few minutes. I'm going to go to incident discussion. I think is the best thing to do. Gear. So I'm just putting in the question in the incident discussion. Anyway, removing the SQ for jumped gear. Surprisingly, we're still not last yet, which is still good. It's still a long race to go, like, so I wouldn't be too worried anyway.
Right. If we all jump out and then jump back in, well, you jump back in, Carl, then you'll be inside the car.
Okay, so if it is the case that we can get going, then
Yeah.
okay, that's no bother at all. Let me know when everyone's out, guys, and I'll jump back in then to it.
I'm out.
I'm out there now.
Yeah, I'm out.
Just waiting to see if anyone can do anything about it. Right, so Matthew, are you out? Is Matty here?
I just came back. I left ages ago. So.
Oh, grand, I'll connect now. Right, I'll just ask Baz. I'll tag Baz in this if there is a way. So I just have to do a lap and then come back in to put Glenn in?
Yeah.
Okay. Glenn, it could be a short stint for you.
Yeah. I put loads of practice in last night as well.
Chris is typing in there. Let's see what he says. Orion, Fan George. Hopefully they do. Let's see what happens anyway. Let's see what happens. Let me see what's happening. After getting tagged in something there. Endurance chat. I'm going to check the photos, but sadly there's nothing we can do about it. No problem. Right, lads, that's our... No, there's nothing they can do about it to check the footage. So they seen that obviously it would jumped up into second and back down. There's nothing they can do.
So they can't get rid of DFQ and then put a penalty in?
No.
That's a load of...
No, they're sticking to the rules. It is what it is. I'm not going to argue.
No, I get they're sticking to the rules. It's the fact that that is a rule.
But in real life, rules are rules. I don't mind, honestly. It is what it is. It's fine.
I just raced all the endurance races I've done, mate. Things like the DFQs they get rid of and they give a stop go 30.
I know. Look, they do things their own way, and I'm happy enough. I've seen what they do, so it is what it is, lads. We learn and move on from this one. Like, obviously, you know, there's a great showing from you and Matty there, so we know that we can be, I think, in the higher side of the mid pack at least. Not knowing obviously how much I can pull you back, but it is what it is. But honestly, look, well done, lads.
No. I get the rules are rules, man. I'm not moaning about rules are rules. I'm moaning about the fact that you don't want people to finish the race.
Well, it's not that they don't want it. Look, but it's not they're doing it like that. At the end of the day, there is a set of rules in, and it is what it is, guys. So, like,
No. I'm not moaning about the fact they're sticking to the rules. I'm saying the rule itself I don't agree with. As I said, I've done a shed load of endurance events with different people, and most of them want people to stick it out, and they'll change it for a stop go 30. So you can still race.
no, look, it's grand. It is what it is. It's fine. But honestly, Matty, though, and Chris for both is, don't let this be something to deter at the end of the day. 2 great stints, just unfortunate what happened near the end, and